Hi and welcome to the ThruNite channel. So in today's video we're going to be comparing some different lights here. On the left we have two new ThruNite models. These are two different versions of the T1S V2 or version 2. Next to that we have the original T1S, this is the V1. Next to that we're also comparing it to the ThruNite T1. Then we have the Olight Baton 3. Next to that here we have the Fenix E09R, and on the end we have the Streamlight MicroStream. So as far as these new lights go, these are two new colors. We have a very vibrant, kind of a hunter green type color, and then a desert tan color. All right. Comparing that to the original, the first version, there's also a new texture. All right. So if I hold these side by side, let me give you a quick zoom in here. All right. Look at the fronts of these. You can see the little strap on the side has different types of cutouts. It's a finer lines that's on there. Just gives it a little bit of a different feel there. All right, so I want to give you guys a quick rundown on the price as well as the high outputs on these flashlights in case you're not familiar with them. So the new T1S V2 are going to be sold for $29.95. They have a high output of 1212 lumens. All right, next to that, the original T1S, the first version, also 1212 lumens and also $29.95. So now you have a couple more color options as well as that new texturing on the body. So next to that, we have the ThruNite T1. These are currently being sold for $39.95. This has a high output of 1500 lumens, so just a little bit brighter there. Then we have the Olight Baton 3. These are currently being sold for $64.95. This puts out 1200 lumens. Then the Fenix E09R currently being sold for $40.45. That's just an average price. You'll see a little fluctuation, especially if you're on Amazon, depending on the seller. This has a high output of 600 lumens. And on the end here, the Streamlight MicroStream currently being sold for $31.99 and has a high output of 250 lumens. All right, so starting with the T1S V2, I just want to go over a couple features, again, in case you're not familiar with these lights, as well as show you how the UI works or user interface. So we have the new pattern on the body there. We have a side switch to turn it on. All right, once you turn it on, it does have a power indicator. All right, so right now we're blue, which means we're good to go. We do have a bi-directional pocket clip on here, which is removable if you want. So we also have a magnetic base, which is flat. All right, so the magnet is actually pretty cool. You can see that it does magnetize. All right, so this is very helpful, obviously, if you're in a shop or something, if you're looking at something under the hood of a vehicle. There's a plethora of different reasons why you would use the magnetic base on this for hands-free lighting. But I really like the fact that this is flat. And I talk about this all the time, whether you have an EDC light or emergency light, whatever the purpose of your flashlight is, I think it's always good to have the capability of tail standing. So if you want to have hands-free lighting for a room, you can put it down on a table, it'll illuminate the room, and you don't have to worry about holding on to it. That's particularly advantageous in something like a power outage. You have no lights, it's nighttime, and you want to be able to just see in a room, especially smaller rooms like a bathroom, let's say. I've done this multiple times in my lifetime where the power's out in the house, summertime storm, something along those lines. And it's nighttime and there's no electric. I can't put the lights on, so I will stage different flashlights and instead of candles in different rooms and just put that light setting on low, just so we have a light glow so I'm not bumping into things. But that flat base is super, super helpful. So anyway, how to use this light? Very simple. From the off position, a long hold will be your moonlight mode. That's the lowest mode for the longest runtime. All right, at any point in time, you just click it once to turn on. Push and hold, it'll cycle through low, medium, and high. You could double click to go right to turbo mode, which again is putting out that 1212 lumens, which is quite bright, especially for such a small light. And then a triple click is going to be strobe. Now, for anyone who has a problem with flashing lights, you might want to skip this part of the video. So triple click, 1, 2, 3, and there's your strobe mode. All right, then just click it at any point to shut it off. So that is it. That is the T1S V2. So then we have the ThruNite T1S V1, the original T1S. And this is identical in how it performs and its output. Now I didn't show the T1S V2. Let me grab that again here to show you, but these both have the same charging ports. It's on the back. All right, so here's T1S V1. Just pop that little rubber cap off. You can see the USB Type-C charging, all right, for fast charging, which is very nice. Again, identical on this light. Then we have the ThruNite T1. Now this light is a little bit different, but if you look at the body of it, so T1, then we have the T1S, right, the original T1S. Then we have the newer T1S V2. You can see these are all very, very similar in size, function, but the original T1 is a little bit different in how it works. So now this one has 1500 lumens, so it's a little bit brighter than the T1S and the T1S V2. But as far as the function, it has the same moonlight mode from off. But when you turn it on and you do a long press, instead of cycling through low, medium, high, these 3 presets, this has the ramping function. So push and hold, and it'll slowly ramp. You can let go at any point. And then once it blinks, it's at its high mode. Push and hold to go down. And again, you can stop anywhere you want. It does have mode memory, so I shut it off and turn it back on. It goes back to the same mode you left off on. All right, so let me ramp back down. At any point in time, you could double click to go right to that turbo mode. And same deal, you could triple click for strobe. So if you want to skip ahead, if you have a problem with flashing lights, you do so right now. 1, 2, 3, and there's the strobe. All right. So like I said, similar form factor and everything, but if you like the ramping, that's why you'd pick the T1 over, say, the T1S or the T1S V2. So next up, we have the Olight Baton 3. Pretty common, very popular light, so a lot of people know about this or familiar, but if you haven't seen it before, same deal, bidirectional pocket clip that's removable if you want. Their charging system is a magnetic system, so it's a flat magnet that sits on the bottom here that goes to a cord to a USB. All right, so inherently we do have a magnetic bottom on this. To use this guy from the off position, same thing like ThruNite. You do a long press for the lowest mode, the moonlight mode, or you can just click it on if you want. This does have a couple presets. All right, so push and hold. Do low, medium, high. You can let go at any one of those to keep it on. So let's say you want medium, there it is. Or you could just double click, just like ThruNite, and you can see it kind of fades into the turbo. All right, and again, this is 600 lumens on this turbo mode. And triple click for the strobe. All right, next up is the Fenix E09R. All right, this one is a little bit different. As far as charging, there's a collar here, and you have to unscrew the collar, which exposes the little charging port, as you can see in there. All right, so let's close that. And this one does work a little bit different than both ThruNite and Olight. I always mention this when I'm doing flashlight comparisons. Fenix has their own kind of UI where you're not really holding anything, you're doing the clicky deal, right? So you have to click for everything. So side button on here, which is like a copper, we're going to hit it twice. All right, this is just blinking, letting me know this guy needs to charge. So now that it's on, instead of pushing and holding, you have to just individually click it each time to change the mode. So in this case, there's 4 presets: low, medium, high, and turbo. Once you get used to the UI on the Fenix lights, it's pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, there is a big old lanyard hole in the bottom here, which means that it does not tail stand, which is disappointing to me, unless of course you want to pop this on a keychain or something. Having that lanyard hole in the bottom is nice. But I don't use these on keys, so I'd prefer it to tail stand. And again, that's why this is not my preference as far as this group of lights. And last up here, the Streamlight MicroStream. All right, very simple light, little clicky switch on the tail end here. If you press in halfway, you have momentary on, and this just has basically low and high. All right, so you can cycle between low or high. And if you want to stay constant on either one of those modes, you click in the button. The button's a little bit hard to push. All right, it's not going to accidentally, be pushed on in your pocket. So I guess that's a pro, but when you do want to turn it on, you do need a little bit more pressure, or you have to use the tip of your thumb, to get that to actually click in. But other than that, very good quality light. All right, so let's head outside and take a look at some beam shots. All right, so we got some beam shots here. First up, the ThruNite T1S V2. They're right in turbo. All right, we'll go up and down, left and right. Get an idea of the spill on this and the hot spot. Go left and right. So next up is the T1S. This is the original version. Put that on turbo. Same thing. We'll go up and down, left and right. All right, next we have the ThruNite T1. All right, go up and down, left and right. Next up is the Olight Baton 3. Get that on turbo. And go up and down, left, and right. All right, next up is the Phoenix E09R. We will go up, down, left, and right. And last up, the Streamlight Microstream. Make sure it's on high. And there you go. I do very much like the T1S V2 just because the color variations are super nice. I mean, the texture being different, I don't have a specific preference between the old style and the new style, but I do really like this green and this desert tan there quite a bit. Even though I think all three of these are fantastic lights, I'm a huge fan of the T1 because I always like the ramping lights. You also get the little bonus of it being slightly brighter at 1500 lumens, right? So almost 300 extra lumens on that model, but it's a little bit more costly. The Baton 3, still a classic light, nothing inherently wrong with it at all. I do like it quite a bit. The Phoenix I actually think is a very good quality light, but again, the no tail stand thing, I don't know, it just bugs me personally. That's absolute personal preference. Some people wouldn't bother that much. Now, as far as the Streamlight goes, even though I do like this light, it's pretty straightforward and simple. In comparing it with these, it happens to be the thinnest and the longest. But to me, it's lacking a little bit. Only 250 lumens, so it is the least bright of the group, and it's somewhere in the middle with expense. So, for $32, you can get into, either the T1S V2 on 3 different colors, because there's also a black one, which I'm not showing here. Or you can get in on the T1S, the original, for 30 bucks. And then the other 3 are a little more expensive, but it's just one of those things that flashlights always come down to preference. These are all good quality flashlights. I think they will all, be very good for anyone who has them. They're going to perform well. They're not just going to break when you drop them. I don't do a lot of these destruction type testing on these videos, but I do throw these things around. I'm not gentle with them. They do fall in accident all the time out of my pocket or from holding a bunch in my hand, and they all do, hold up. They're good quality flashlights. It really comes down to what your budget may be and what kind of functions you're looking for. How many lumens you want, what kind of a beam shot. That's why I always show beam shots in these videos. Do you want a lot of spread? Do you want more throw? Those preferences are really why you would pick one light over another. Now, if you're new to this channel, ThruNite does giveaways on their products to the viewers. It's completely free to you. If you want to enter, all you have to do is comment on these videos and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.